Taipei, Taiwan. Voters have cast their ballots in Taiwan's closely watched presidential and parliamentary elections, with the first results expected to be announced later on Saturday. The presidential vote is a surprising three-way race between incumbent Vice President William Lai Ching-te from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party (DPP), the former mayor of New Taipei City Hou Yu-ih from the more conservative Kuomintang (KMT), and third-party candidate Ko Wen-je from the Taiwan People's Party. Initial results showed Lai taking a comfortable lead over his two rivals. At stake is the future direction of Taiwan's democracy. A continued push for a higher international profile as a de facto independent state by the DPP. Closer ties with China but potentially better economic relations as promised by the KMT. Or an untested but new third way between both parties as promised by the TPP. Also at stake is the makeup of Taiwan's 113-person unicameral legislature, voted in based on geographic constituency, and a second list based on a party's proportion of votes. 6 seats are reserved for Indigenous Taiwanese. In the last election, the DPP snuck through with a legislative majority, but their victory is far from certain this time thanks to competition from the KMT and TPP in many local races. Some 19.5 million people were eligible to vote aged 20 and over, and voter turnout is expected to be high based on public transit data. Taiwanese are required to return to the location of their household registration, typically their hometown, to vote in person, which means the lead-up to elections can be a busy time for the island-wide rail service. On Friday, Taiwan Railway Administration predicted a record 758,000 tickets in sales, higher than any previous election. It was a surprise turnaround for what has been a relatively lackluster campaign season focused on domestic issues, according to Brian Hioe, a frequent commentator on Taiwanese politics and founder of New Bloom magazine. Shortly before, train ticket sales weren't doing that well and there was a sudden rebound, he said. I think it shows how quickly things can change in Taiwanese politics. Oftentimes before the election itself, it suddenly sets up a national doom feeling. People suddenly worry what will happen if X candidate gets elected or if one rally turnout appears higher than expected, Hioe also said. That makes people mobilize. Hioe said 2 key events may have spooked some voters this week into voting. The first was the massive turnout of 350,000 people on Friday at a rally for third-party candidate Ko, showing voters that he was a real contender despite the relative inexperience of his party. The second were remarks made this week by former President and KMT member Ma Ying-jeou that Taiwan should trust Chinese President Xi Jinping.